People will betray you. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you get rid of the victim mentality. Because betrayal is not rare, it is common. Loyalty is the exception. Our dark inner world, which Jung called the shadow, shows this clearly. The primitive instinct under the thin veneer of civilization has for thousands of years put survival ahead of any sense of loyalty. Someone who betrays you may not do it out of malice. Only their interests have changed. They no longer have anything to take from you, or someone else is offering more. This is not personal, it is structural. It is ingrained in human nature. And we are still surprised to believe that the world is based on justice, loyalty, ethics. The truth is that loyalty is a luxury that comes at a cost. When conflicts of interest arise, most people will dismiss you at the first opportunity and make up stories to justify themselves. They even believe them. But you will always be the one picking up the pieces. Just because you are fair to others does not mean that the world will be fair to you. That thinking will only lead you to disappointment. Why does a person betray? Because he can. Because there are no consequences. Because he pays no price. And the bitter truth is this: people are only as loyal as you make them loyal. Loyalty is not based on their love, but on the fear of losing them. When someone betrays you so easily, it whispers that you are not so indispensable after all. And this hurts more than the act itself. Jung says that betrayal reveals not only the shadow of others, but also our own. It brings to light what we refuse to see. You face the fact that you overestimated that person's place in your life. The people you thought were there for you actually liked the strong, useful, or fun version of you. But when the going got tough, when you changed, they disappeared. Because their loyalty only lasted as long as nothing cost them their comfort. The real pain of betrayal is that it shows you who you are in a relationship. Maybe you were too naive, too attached, too idealistic. And the other party, maybe not as loyal as you thought, only there for as long as it suited him or her. This realization shakes the foundations of trust. And this is where paranoia begins. Betrayal is not just about someone hurting you. It also changes the way you see the world. From that moment on, you start to be suspicious of everyone. Because if the person you once trusted the most can betray you, you cannot predict what others are capable of. Distrust seeps into the mind, slowly envelops everything, and is replaced by loneliness. But that loneliness is not a punishment. It is a form of protection. Because once someone really deeply betrays you, you want to see everyone's mask. Every intimacy feels like a potential threat. Betrayal is a cleansing. It hurts, yes, but the pain is deepened not by the one who deceived you, but by the one who still misses him, who still longs for him to come back. Because your longing is for a version of him that doesn't exist, a dream, and that dream poisons you. You have to let it go, because as Jung said, betrayal reveals not only someone else's dark side, but also your shadow. What doesn't kill you can make you stronger, but only if you choose to understand it. Otherwise, the wound that remains inside you makes you more closed, more insecure. So do you really want to heal? Then first stop romanticizing it. Accept human nature. Betrayal is potentially in everyone, even you. And most importantly, take the power to decide who you let into your life. If someone betrays you once, it may be their fault. But if it happens a second time, it is now your responsibility. See people as they are, not as you want to see them. Realize what they are protecting when they remain silent. And when someone betrays you, don't ask for explanations. Don't look for answers. Just walk away. Because traitors don't want results. They want attention. They want tears, accusations, arguments, and you give them what they least expect: silence. Your absence is a stronger punishment than your presence. Remember, betrayal does not define you, but how you respond to it shapes you. If you can walk through this fire without becoming what you hate, then you are truly empowered. But it is not easy, because betrayal shakes not only a relationship, but also your identity. Your self-confidence is shattered. The thought, "Did I fall so easily?" gnaws at you. Not only your trust in him, but also your belief in yourself is damaged. You can't even trust your intuition anymore. And this break resonates inside you, not outside you. Over time, you learn not to feel. You give less, you wait less. But this doesn't liberate you, it locks you in. And without realizing it, you become the person you once swore to protect yourself from: cold, distant, suspicious. But your shield does not protect you. It only builds walls. It closes the door to love, to connection, to a new chance. The most dangerous thing is that you have built this wall. It is a cycle of trauma. "I have been hurt, so now I will hurt first," settles in the mind. Inwardly you say, "I will never open up to anyone again." And you really won't. But this protection, while armoring you with armor, leaves your inner world empty. After betrayal, the soul develops defense mechanisms to survive. One of them is to rewrite the story. "I was expecting it anyway. It didn't matter anyway. It's better this way," you tell yourself. But this is not true. Denying your pain only severs your connection to yourself. It creates a false self inside you, a self that seems strong but is broken inside, a self that smiles but silently collapses. Carl Jung warns at this point. If you repress your pain, you repress your shadow. It will either destroy you or transform you. The choice is yours. Either you let the wound rot you or you turn it into a mirror. In that mirror you realize what you have been ignoring, what you have been denying, not only the other person, but also yourself. Because most of the time, the red flags were there. You just chose to ignore them. The hardest part of betrayal is when not only your trust in someone else is shaken, but also your faith in yourself. The question, "How could I have been so blind?" gnaws at you from the inside. And then comes the deepest fear. What if I can never trust again? This extends not only to people, but to the whole of life. You can no longer trust anyone easily. Everyone seems like a potential threat. But remember, not everyone will hurt you. Just learn to recognize it. Look at behavior, not just words. Notice how they behave when no one is watching. The truth is in the unseen. And yes, you will need to be alone. You will have to break some ties. You will have to rebuild your intuition, because betrayal is not healed by anger, but by inner reconstruction. Only then can you trust again, but no longer blindly, but with awareness. Do not ignore the betrayal. Do not suppress the pain. Otherwise, you will live the same story over and over again. Observe it, understand it, learn from it, and then move on, more careful, more discerning, more aware, but never empty, dull, emotionless, just more aware. And now we move to a deeper truth: silent betrayal. It is the most painful because it is invisible. It doesn't cut like a knife, but it consumes you from the inside. When someone betrays you by shouting at you, you can defend yourself. But when someone is indifferent when you need them most, that silence shatters you. Maybe he didn't betray you, but he didn't defend you either. He wasn't where he was supposed to be, and you can't blame it. There is no proof. There's only your instinct. He should have been here, but he was not. That is the bitterest truth. This person may have said he loved you, but his love was on the surface. He had words, but no actions. This realization shakes you, because you thought you had a safety net, but it was only an illusion. And maybe the real betrayal was not in the action, but in the silence of people who didn't really defend you, who didn't exist for you. Sometimes you realize that what you are experiencing is not a relationship between two people, but a connection between you and the story you have created. You find it difficult to see the truth. You start thinking not about whether fidelity exists or not, but only about how much you need it. This new awareness protects your mind. I don't want to bleed again, you say, but this is not a real life. It is a survival reflex. You build high walls, you become wary of everyone, but there is no real you behind those walls. This is the most difficult confrontation. Sometimes it is not someone else who hurts you, but yourself. There were warnings deep inside. You felt them, but you didn't want to see them, because the fear of losing this relationship was greater than your love for yourself. And that is the deepest betrayal of yourself. And why did you do it? Because you were addicted to hope. You thought that if you give your all, one day it will be returned. But some people don't know how to receive love, because the emptiness inside them makes no room for anything you can give. Some people betray you not because you are inadequate, but because they are driven by their own spiritual wounds. They cannot carry anything healthy. Even when things start going well, they sabotage it. And the saddest thing is that they don't even see it as betrayal. They say they are drowning and blame you. But you remain there, broken and abandoned, and they go on their way, because they cannot feel what you feel. They do not speak your language. Loyalty is just a word for them. It is not a commitment. And if you don't stop here, you will continue to attract such people into your life. The ones who love you only when you are quiet. The ones who stay with you as long as you don't shine. And that is a kind of betrayal. Giving up on yourself and waiting for others to accept you. Dimming your own light so as not to appear strong. Hiding your talents so that others don't feel uncomfortable. These are betrayals directed towards yourself. As Jung said, masks don't just want you to fit into the world. They alienate you from yourself. And we feel the pain of this betrayal so deeply that we give it other names. Lesson, experience, life. But no. No matter how common some things are, you have to name it correctly. It was a betrayal. And healing begins only when you name it, because then you can choose. You can choose not to put your soul in the hands of someone who can't even carry his soul anymore. Not to diminish yourself just so that someone doesn't abandon you, to choose loneliness over bad company. The truth is, most people want someone who is compliant, not strong. But when you decide to be unstoppable, you are seen as a threat. And at that point, you are no longer a victim, but a threat. Because betrayal reveals not only who they are, but also who you are. That's when transformation begins. Strengthening without hardening, trusting again without becoming blind, continuing to love, but never at the expense of your honor. And now, let me tell you something that perhaps no one has dared to say. Betrayal is the baptism of the strong. It burns you, it destroys you, but it also awakens you. It takes your innocence and turns it into wisdom, so that no one defines you but you. Someone who has experienced betrayal in all its forms does not become paranoid. He becomes selective. He no longer conforms to everyone because he knows that not everyone deserves him. He no longer begs for loyalty because he has learned that true loyalty is silent. And if at the end of this message you feel that you are no longer the same person, it is no coincidence. It is an awakening. And now the choice is yours. Will you turn your broken pieces into armor, or will you transform into a wiser, deeper version of yourself? This is no longer just a video. This can be the first step in your transformation. Welcome to you. Welcome to yourself.